I know what you're thinking. We made another one of these. We made another case yesterday, but this one I really wanted to get out because number one, I needed a test bench. And I was like, oh crap, where am I going to get a test bench from that I can use for testing stuff? Basically pretty much what a test bench is used for. Where in the world would I be able to find one of them? And so I've sat down and I was like, you know what, I'll just build one out of Lego since I've had these kind of cool Lego pieces sitting around. And we've got a final product, which is basically a fully supportive case, test bench really. It's not really a case because the point of this was to make it so that everything was sturdy housing that's not going to get moved around, that everything sits and we solve any problems that we've had in previous cases. So the first problem I want to address, which I addressed in this case, was the hard drive noise. Hard drives rattle around and make some insanely weird noises, and they're very loud. So I put this on rubber pieces so that way you don't hear any sound whatsoever except just like the reading and writing from the hard drive, which is really quiet and not really much of an issue. The second thing I wanted to address is when you have a graphics card, some of the problem is this wiggling right here. And what I made is I made a bracket that fits around the graphics card to make sure it doesn't move as much. Of course, there's only so much you can move, but it basically alleviates a lot of that. It makes it have a really good sturdy place to chill out without removing any of the airflow. So the next thing I wanted to make sure I included was a good spot for the hard drive. Now the problem with the hard drive is, not the hard drive, power supply. Power supply is I want to make sure that it had a good situated spot that I could easily access it to pull cables and route cables from. So what I would change about this build, I definitely think that cable management could be a little bit more easier, done differently, something along those lines, because one of the biggest things for me is that these cables are kind of all over the place. All the components are here. Hard drives, you've probably got enough room to build another one. You've also got a couple other things as well. We've got it so that you can take out the power supply and not completely have to take off the motherboard, etc. I've got cables plugged in, so that's why it's pulling on it. But basically, the hard drive is situated over here. The motherboard on this, you can move the motherboard. You can get a bigger motherboard. You can get a larger motherboard, and it still situates in there. Other things I would add though is maybe find some thin Lego pieces to fit in these screw holes. But that's about it. I feel like the Lego itself do a good job holding it. It's really sturdy. I mean, it's sturdy as about as much of as a test bench would get. But also keep in mind, a test bench is supposed to be really open, and this accomplishes the job without having to worry about your parts getting bumped or broken. This still accomplishes that. The other thing I wanted to do was also make sure this hard drive was close to the ground, because you really can't drop something. You can't drop something without, you can't drop a hard drive and shatter it and ruin it without, you can't do that from that high. So that was the other thing, is that it's really safe and it's easy to fix as well. Now obviously the other issue I'd say though is that everything, and there's the Legos underneath the table, everything feels like I'm not going to be worried about bumping it, breaking it, etc. It's sturdy, and out of all the cases I've done, I feel like this one is the most, it's obviously open, but it also does exactly what I wanted to, which was become a test bench. If you look at the test benches online, those are pretty much just customized case specifically for, being completely open. And that's exactly what we did. We didn't want to build a completely enclosed case. That was the last video we did on here. And we didn't want to, have it all secluded. Airflow, of course, will be fine because it's all open. And that's really it. Now, I'm going to get into the time-lapse, which is going to be the last half of this video. I do ask now at this point, if you enjoyed this, or if you enjoy this series, maybe check out my channel. This will be episode 4 of the Lego PC, and I'm probably not going to be doing another one for a bit after this. But you can check the previous videos out, but I'm planning on going through and doing some other stuff for a bit. Maybe next month we'll get another Lego PC in here. I'm going to try doing one a month at least, and we'll move from there. But that's going to wrap up for this part of the video. Let's move into the time-lapse, and if you like, you can check out the channel for other ones. Like if you enjoyed, dislike if you didn't, and yeah, thank you for watching. So here's the time-lapse.